Well, for those of you that were with us for that KF final, very unofficially, because everything that I'm doing is unofficial. I'm not an official of the meeting as the commentator. I believe that at the end of those championship races, Nicholas Nielsen leads the championship with 76 points. And I'm very, very much indebted to Jill for doing the addition for me. But we believe that Nicholas Nielsen has 76 points, that Callum Eilert has 67 points, and Tom Joyner 53 points. Fourth in the championship standings, probably Lando Norris on 53 points. It's a tie break between Tom Joyner and Lando Norris, although maybe Lando Norris, I don't know, let's not go there. Let's just simply say that Lando Norris and Tom Joyner jointly have the third place total of 53, and Nico Kari, having had a big disappointment here, is fifth in the championship standings with 48. But that's all unofficial. If you go to the CIK website subsequently, you can learn the real answers. Okay, that was KF. We now go KZ, or KZ if you will. Depends whether we're in the United States or whether we're in the United Kingdom. That's Yannick de Brabinder we see there. Yannick de Brabinder driving a CRG TM for the CRG team. Slim young Belgian driver who I've watched since really quite a young lad. And Yannick de Brabinder, not having a season as good as some that he's had, he did say to me, I haven't really got the speed, Ken, but he's got himself to start on the fourth row, so he's not hanging about, is he? Number one, Marco Ardigo, the pole position driver, the Tony Kart driver on the Tony Kart Vortex, everybody on Bridgestone tyres. There at the back, 21 is Victor Åberg of Sweden. Victor Åberg will start in 32nd place. So Victor Åberg with a lot of work to do, but he has made the final. Alongside Marco Ardigo on the front row is Jonathan Tournon of Belgium. He drives a Praga Perilla. Jonathan Tournon drives for Praga Kart Racing. There you can see kart number 3, and you can see that Praga motif, if you will, the livery, the royal blue and gold, very regal Praga Kart Racing. But Marco Ardigo, the much more readily, shall we say, recognised Tony Kart green and white. Having said that, don't recognise Marco Ardigo for the simple reason he's not in the picture. He'll be there when it counts. Jonathan Tournon sitting down at the side of kart number 3, you can see there, just almost a yoga concentration situation. Marco Ardigo is now alongside kart number 1, hands on hips. Bas Lammers there in the FK racing suit. Bas Lammers on an FK Perilla will be starting in 30th place from the 15th row, so a lot of hard work to be done by Bas Lammers. Kart number 20 is Arno Kozlinski. Arno Kozlinski, who had that tremendous battle in this morning's pre-final. Really was a good scrap, that. Enjoyed it immensely. Coco sitting for a photo shot. And to the outside of Arno Kozlinski is Rick Drazen. Rick Drazen just fastening on his rib protector, making that 2 Belgians in the first 2 rows on the outer. Arno Kozlinski drives an Intrepid. Saro Cesetti standing up there, you see, with the Top Kart Racing suit. Saro talking to Flavio Campaneschi. Flavio Campaneschi will start on row 14, just in front of Saro Cesetti, so they've got a lot of work to do. Flavio Campaneschi having gone out of the pre-final at an early stage. There's the 5-minute board, so we're not on the immediate cusp of going racing, but we're not far away. Ben Hanley there just putting on his balaclava, or his under helmet protection, under helmet headgear, shall we call it that. And there is the said Ben Hanley reaching for his gloves, reaching for his helmet. Ben drives an ART GP with a TM motor. He'll be starting from the inside of row 3. To the outside, Yorit Pex, just getting a little bit of last-minute attention from his father. Yorit's younger brother, Stan, was racing earlier on. And Richard just making sure that everything's okay. The helmet goes onto Yorit's head. He's ready for racing. Marco Ardigo on row Kozlinski and Rick Drazen. On row 3, Ben Hanley and Yorit Pex. And apologies to those of you tuned in online because we have lost our signal currently. We've lost our signal, so you're probably not hearing me. Comes back pretty quickly. Cart number 16 you see there is Yannick de Brabander having a little bit of a smile. In fact, Yannick de Brabander having quite a smile. To the outside of Yannick is Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Jordan Lennox-Lamb driving the CRG Maxter. Yannick de Brabander's also on a CRG, but Yannick's CRG is powered by a TM. Jordan Lennox-Lamb on the outer, Yannick de Brabander on the inside. That is row 4. Saro Cesetti getting into his cart on row 15. Simo Pahaka standing up. It's not anything of a hurry for Simo because he's starting on the back row, so he can wait until everybody else is sorted before he gets into his cart. Jerome Fontaine with the red top, the circuit manager here, just walking off the circuit moments ago. Cart number 10 there is Patrick Hayek from the Czech Republic. Patrick Hayek drives a Praga Perilla, getting a handshake from his mechanic. The tall driver on the outer was Paolo De Conto. Paolo De Conto driving a Birel powered by a TM, and Patrick Hayek and Paolo De Conto are row 5. Well, we had a really feisty pre-final this morning. Marco Ardigo and Arno Kozlinski battling for positions 1 and 2 at one stage with a fair little bit of, what shall we say, incidental contact. Well, attention paddock, I'm being asked to say that academy drivers can go with their voucher to the information tent now. Well, as the KZ drivers move off, academy drivers, please will you go with the voucher to the information tent now. Academy drivers can go with their voucher to the information tent now, please. Thank you. We get ready for another 23-lap final. This time the finest drivers in the world, literally, taking to the tarmac here at Karting Genk. So our caption showing Marco Ardigo on pole position, joined on the front row by Jonathan Tonen. Another Belgian, Rick Drazen, on row 2. Another world champion, Arno Kozlinski, joining him on row 2. Another Belgian, Yannick de Brabinder, on row 4. David Faure, 4 times world champion, now driving for the DTK racing team on a CRG TM. He is on row 7. Excuse me, he's cart number 7 on row 6. Bas Lammers, who we featured, and Sauro Cesetti, confirmation that they've got a lot of work to do. They're starting on row 15. But it's even harder for the Swedes, the Swede and the Finn, Simo Pohaka and Victor Oberg. They've got everybody else in front of them. Well, as you can see on our screen, and those of you present here at Karting Genk, perfect racing conditions. Quite cloudy, so it's not too hot. A lot of blue sky. Good crowd. Lot of atmosphere. Crowds in the tribune, crowds at the side. Really nice atmosphere here at Karting Genk. This is the KZ European Championship final in the first round of the 2014 Championship. A lot to be raced for, a very prestigious title. Well, I thought momentarily that Marco Ardigo might have been wanting to start on the outside of the front row as the poleman, claiming his right to say on which side he would wish to start. But no, he goes to the inner, which does seem to me to be the greater likelihood of the advantage. However, how quickly do you get away from a standing start governs who leads through turn 1. Marco Ardigo is on the left in the Tony Kart Racing livery. Jonathan Tonon is on the right in the Praga Racing livery. Here we go. And Tonon not getting as accurate a start as he might have, but I thought he would take the lead. But Marco Ardigo getting that little bit of an advantage from the turn and leading from number 3, Jonathan Tonon, at this early stage. That's number 20, Arno Kozlinski, in 3rd place. So Marco Ardigo, Jonathan Tonon and Arno Kozlinski, the leaders from the start. I think that Jonathan Tonon outgunned Marco Ardigo over the first sort of 15 metres, but he wasn't pointing his card absolutely straight. He was sort of diving in a little bit, and then when he had to check to get things straight so as not to touch anyone, Marco Ardigo was able to place himself on the inside, and with turn 1 coming to the advantage of the poleman, that, in my opinion, is why Marco Ardigo leads this at the moment and not Jonathan Tonon. Arno Kozlinski is 3rd, but already a little bit detached from the front running 2. That's the end of the opening lap. Ardigo, Tonon and Kozlinski the 1, 2 and 3. Ben Hanley was 4th, Paolo De Conto 5th, Rick Drazen 6th, Jordan Lennox-Lamb 7, Yannick de Brabinder 8, Patrick Hayek 9 and Anthony Abbas of France completing the top 10. And as I read that, Paolo De Conto went past Ben Hanley, so Paolo De Conto is now 4th and Ben Hanley now 5th. That happened moments ago, and there's the change of lead, and Jonathan Tonon takes the lead early on lap 2, but Marco Ardigo fighting back, and this is 10/10ths driving by these drivers, and that change of position and the retake has enabled Arno Kozlinski in 3rd place and Paolo De Conti in 4th to close up on them. So we've now got a 4-driver front battle. Marco Ardigo, Jonathan Tonon, Arno Kozlinski and Paolo De Conto are the 1, 2, 3, 4. Kozlinski moves into 3rd place. No, he stays in 3rd place. Oh, and we've got the contact between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Utter disaster, and Marco Ardigo now, instead of having a close battle, is a long way clear because Jonathan Tonon, Arno Kozlinski and Paolo De Conto all touched and have lost massive places, and cart number 9, Rick Drazen, is now in 2nd place. Flavio Campaneschi way downfield sets the fastest lap, but he gains through. Now let's have a look at this battle. Marco Ardigo is okay. Arno Kozlinski in third place, about to be passed. It would seem, no, Arno really just, well, just ploughed into Jonathan Tonon, it seemed, didn't he? But I make no comment as to where any fault lay. What I do say is that the outcome is that we've lost a really, really potentially good battle, because Marco Ardigo is now in a comfortable lead of 9/10 of a second from Rick Drazen, who is a full second clear of Jordan Lennox-Lamb in third place. Arno Kozlinski has managed to hold on to fourth, Anthony Abbas fifth, Yorick Peck sixth, Ben Hanley seventh, Paolo De Conto came out in eighth place, David Foray up to ninth, and Ricardo Negro completing the top 10. Bas Lammers, who was right at the back, or near as could be, is 18th from the back. Flavio Campaneschi from the back up into 14th place. Yannick de Brabinder dropped some places there. And cart number 5 gaining a place is Ben Hanley, is Yorick Pex. Yorick Pex gaining a place. That would put Yorick Pex up into 5th place in front of Anthony Abbas. Well, just trying to take in the significance of that very, very unfortunate coming together that involved 3 really good drivers in a scrap of 4 at the front. Marco Ardigo suddenly, having found himself in the cauldron, found himself well clear of Rick Drazen. However, Rick Drazen now sets a fastest lap. There is cart number 8 in third place, Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, CRG Works driver for 3 years, I think it is now. And cart number 2, chasing Jordan Lennox-Lamb, is Anthony Abbas. Anthony Abbas driving a Sodi kart for the official Sodi kart team. And Anthony Abbas in 4th place. You see Jordan Lennox-Lamb there going down through the gears, getting a little bit of exaggerated movement. Marco Ardigo leading from Rick Drazen. Jordan Lennox-Lamb holding off the challenge of Anthony Abbas. 5th place driver in cart number 5 is Yorick Pex, and Paolo De Conte in 6th place in cart number 6 in shot there. Jonathan Tonon sets the fastest lap. He is in, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't do the count. Have to try and find that a little bit later on, as Jonathan Tonon is 27th place but sets the fastest lap. Well, there'll be a little bit of a post-mortem at the end of the race, no doubt, but hey, these things happen in karting. That's as much as we can do, but what I always say is nobody's going away to hospital, but somebody's going through into a place ahead of Jordan Lennox-Lamb, and the somebody is Yorick Pex. The somebody is Anthony Abbas. So Anthony Abbas goes in front of Yorick Pex. Was in front of Yorick Pex, goes in front of Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Let me give you the call over so that you know what sort of nonsense I've been talking. Marco Ardigo leads from Rick Drazen. Anthony Abbas is 3rd. Jordan Lennox-Lamb 4th. Paolo De Conto 5th. Yorick Pex 6th. Arno Kozlinski 7th. Ben Hanley 8th. David Foray 9th. Mirko Torsolini completing the top 10. And Paolo De Conto in 5th place is quickest of them all with a time of 53.4. We had a 52.8 previously in the event. I think that was in the pre-final. We also had a 52.9 in one of the heats. Well, Marco Ardigo's lead is 0.7 of a second, but in shot there is cart number 6, Paolo De Conto, running in 5th place. Just in front of him is cart number 2, which is Anthony Abbas. But here is Marco Ardigo leading Rick Drazen, and your 3rd place driver, Anthony Abbas, in the Sodi kart, comes into shot now. That is Marco Ardigo. That is Rick Drazen. Back to Marco Ardigo in the lead. Lovely close-up shot here. If you've got a nice big screen, you can see so much detail. Very smooth through the shifter box. Well, slightly less smooth there by Marco, just having a little crack there. Rick Drazen getting a little bit further adrift of Marco Ardigo. It was 0.70 of a second. It's now 0.75. But these two are well clear by over a second from our 3rd place driver, Anthony Abbas, 4th, Paolo De Conto, 5th, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, 6th, Yorick Pex. Ben Hanley, who was, I think, in 5th place, is running 7th at the moment. This is the end of lap 8 of a 23-lap final. Victor Oberg, who started stone last in 32nd place, makes it into the top 20 at number 20. Flavio Camponeschi who climbed up to 14th place, is now out of the top 20, down in 21st place. 9 there, lovely shot of Rick Drazen in the Zanardi Perilla. Marco Ardigo, Rick Drazen, our featured driver for the immediate moment. Nice and smooth style. Following Marco Ardigo in 3rd place here is Anthony Abbas in the Sodi cart, but you tell me, is Paolo De Conto in cart number 6 getting a little bit closer? Well, there's part of the answer. He must be, because he was doing the fastest lap. So Paolo De Conto in 4th place in cart number 6, now putting the pressure on 3rd place driver Anthony Abbas. And we don't make predictions from this little commentary booth, but we would not be stunningly surprised if there's not an attempted pass on Anthony Abbas by Paolo De Conto in the near future. In the meantime, this is Rick Drazen in 2nd place on your screen. Here's that battle I'm talking about. Cart number 2, holding on to 3rd place is Anthony Abbas. Behind him is Paolo De Conto. 39 there, just having a little bit of a peep down, was Ricardo Negro. Ricardo Negro is in 11th place. Looks as if he might have had a little bit of a problem. Well, Paolo De Conto in cart number 6 has gone past Anthony Abbas, as we predicted, although I did say I don't want to make predictions, but it was pretty clear that Paolo De Conto was winding up for a passing move, which Anthony Abbas, good a driver as he is, and he is a good driver, was not going to be able to resist that. Paolo had just got more speed, and here on this karting Genk circuit, that was always going to tell. Jordan Lennox-Lamb is in 5th place in cart number 8. Yorick Pex is in 6th place in cart 5. And the race leader, not content with increasing his lead at the front, sets a fastest lap of 53.182. Marco Ardigo not hanging about. Marco Ardigo's 2 world titles were won at Marienburg, Belgium, in the French-speaking part of Belgium, and the 2nd title at La Conca in the south of Italy. Paolo De Conto in cart number 6 in a comfortable 3rd place now. Do like to see this shifter class where you see the hand movement, the gear changes, the shifting, just adds a little bit more of a dimension from the direct drive class. Marco Ardigo's lead is 1 1/4 seconds, and it's another 1 3/4 seconds behind Rick Drazen before we find Paolo De Conto. Although Paolo De Conto is getting a little bit closer, he must be, because he's just set a fastest lap. Paolo De Conto in front of Anthony Abbas, the Sodi kart emblem on the back of Anthony's race suit. This is 3rd and 4th we're watching. Jordan Lennox-Lamb is the driver just coming into shot in cart number 8. 6 is Paolo De Conto, 2 is Anthony Abbas. They're in shot. 1 Marco Ardigo, 9 Rick Drazen, they're 1 and 2, followed by Paolo De Conto 3rd, Anthony Abbas 4th, Jordan Lennox-Lamb 5th, Yorick Pex 6, Ben Hanley 7, Mirko Torsolini 8, David Forre 9, and Massimo Aceto of Italy drives into the top 10. Saro Cesetti, who started way at the back with Bas Lammers on row 15, is up into 14th place. A good drive by him. Well, just looking a little bit further down the chart, there's the top 20. We've lost Arno Kozlinski, Patrick Hayek, Freddie Carlson and Jeremy Iglesias. And Arno Kozlinski's disappointment manifest when we have a look at the championship points potentially lost. Arno Kozlinski, who had that really feisty dice with Marco Ardigo, not in a position to continue it after the collision that we saw early on that put Marco Ardigo way out in front. And to some degree we were the losers, weren't we, because we would have got a better race with those 3 top drivers in there. We still have a couple of them out on circuit, but not as close as they were. But we've lost Jonathan Tonen and Arno Kozlinski, and you have to think that there was some sort of damage as a result there. 14 going past 32 is Flavio Camponeschi, going past Simo Paharka for 12th place. So Flavio Camponeschi moves up from 13th to 12th Simo Pahaka, who started on the back row and got himself up to 12th place, actually loses a place to Flavio Campaneschi, but a good drive by the Finn in kart 32, notwithstanding. This is lap 15, the start of lap 15. Marco Ardigo, the official Tony Kart number 1, driving of course for the official Tony Kart racing team. Lovely shots by our CIK TV cameramen, and if I'm praising the organisation that I'm currently working for, let me say that I have no contribution to the quality, the technical quality of these pictures, so I feel quite able to praise my technicians, my cameramen, my TV director, who are helping me help you by producing these fabulous pictures. Marco Ardigo, I won't say in a league of his own because there's some other good drivers here by far, but on this particular occasion, especially what happened early in the race, very much controlling, governing this particular race as we hit the 2/3 race distance and move on. Marco Ardigo's lead over Rick Drayson is 1.5 seconds, and there is no change of position in the top 9, but Bas Lammers drove into 10th place in kart number 4, having started 30th. So Bas Lammers has driven from 30th to 10th. If we do see kart number 4, and there is Jordan Lennox-Lamb squeezing past Anthony Abbas, and Anthony Abbas loses a little bit of speed as a result, and Yorick Peck's also putting a move on him. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb making a move from 5th to 4th, and Yorick Peck's seeking to heap some more misery on the Frenchman Anthony Abbas. But Marco Ardigo in no kind of trouble here, and it has to be said, Rick Drayson in 2nd place in no kind of problem, nor is Paolo De Conto in 3rd place. But Jordan Lennox-Lamb now in 4th, Yorick Peck's now in 5th, and Anthony Abbas, who was 4th 30 seconds ago, is now 6th in front of Ben Hanley 7th, Mirko Torsolini 8th, David Foré 9, and Bas Lammers in the top 10. This is number 9, Rick Drayson in shot now. Rick Drayson drives a Zanardi Perilla, and he races for the Zanardi team. He's from Belgium. Marco Ardigo sets the fastest lap at 53.05, the fastest lap of all this weekend of these KZs was a 52.8. Marco Ardigo in 53.0, not pressed it has to be said, setting off for another journey into the final quarter of this race. So 3/4 of the race is gone. We enter the 4th quarter. Marco Ardigo's margin over Rick Drayson, who we see now on screen, is 1.8 seconds. Rick Drayson has over 1.3 seconds on Paolo De Conto 3rd, and Jordan Lennox-Lamb is more than a full second back in 4th place. So whilst I want you to enjoy our racing, I can't lie to you and say that we've got some really close racing in the top 4 places, because we haven't. However, we do have some very, very quality drivers turning on a good display. Marco Ardigo is in shot there. This is Paolo De Conto. Marco Ardigo, Rick Drayson and Paolo De Conto, 1, 2 and 3. There is 4th place driver Jordan Lennox-Lamb just going through the shot. This again is Paolo De Conto. Paolo De Conto drives a Birel TM for Birel Motorsport, and Paolo is of course an Italian driver driving for an Italian team. Jordan Lennox-Lamb is a British driver driving a CRG for an Italian team. Paolo De Conto's Birel, the word Birel clearly on the back of his race suit and clearly on the fairing of the kart, but the Tony Kart logo very easy to identify there, and even at race speed our television camera pictures picking up the words Tony Kart, the word M. Ardigo. Yannick de Brabinder out of the top 20 sets a fastest lap at 53.02, and 53.02 is not hanging around on the karting Genk circuit, believe me. So Yannick de Brabinder, not where he would like to be on the track, but going really swiftly. Marco Ardigo's advantage coming up towards 2 full seconds on Rick Drayson. Mirko Torsolini up now to 8th. David Foray 9th. Bas Lammers in the top 10, would like to go a shade further. Simo Puharka, who started on the back row, running 13th. That's a good drive by the Finn. The lower order of the top 20, drivers who hadn't really shown any likelihood to be in the top half dozen or so, certainly not chasing a podium spot. So to that degree, the race going to form. Again, we just bemoan slightly the fact that we've lost top drivers like Arno Kozlinski and Jonathan Tonon. Marco Ardigo. First won a world title in 2007 and was good enough to defend it. We don't have a lot of world champions in karting who go on to successfully defend the title. Most recently, of course, it would be Nick de Vries in 2010 and 2011. Marco Ardigo, official works driver, a factory driver, call him what you will, professional kart racer. Not in the first flush of youth, but still with many racing years in front of him, you would imagine. A couple of laps to go, I think, now, so it's going to take a disaster of mega proportions to deprive Marco Ardigo of victory here at Karting Genk. Nice racing style, Marco Ardigo, nice and smooth. Does do a little bit of soaring with his hands. The glance over his shoulder was really sort of relaxed, wasn't it? Rick Drazen also having a relaxed look. And Anthony Abbas getting a little bit active with his hands. Anthony Abbas trying to get a place back on Mirko Torsolini, because Anthony Abbas was as far up as 4th at one stage, but is now running in 8th in front of Bas Lammers 9th and David Foray 10th. But we stay with Marco Ardigo in these late stages. This is lap 22. We've lost quite a few drivers on this 32-kilometre race, 20-mile race. Kart 8 in shot is Jordan Lennox-Lamb. And Paolo De Conte, where is Paolo De Conte? Is falling away. Paolo De Conte, we saw that hand go up, and I didn't make reference to it, but the hand that went up was Paolo De Conte saying, I'm not under power. And since Paolo De Conte is not under power, he's not now in that 3rd place. He promotes Jordan Lennox-Lamb to 3rd place as Marco Ardigo starts the final lap. Rick Drazen 2 seconds behind, and Jordan Lennox-Lamb inheriting a slightly fortuitous 3rd place on the back of Paolo De Conte's real misfortune, it has to be said. There's the checkered flag. Marco Ardigo wins it. In 2nd place, it's Rick Drazen. Waiting for the 3rd place driver to finish. There he is, Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Jorrit Peks 4th. Ben Hanley 5th. Mirko Torsolini in 6th place. Anthony Abbas 7th. Bas Lammers 8th. Flavio Camponeschi 9th. And Massimo Accetto of Italy in 10th place. From the back row, Simo Puharka drove up to 11th. Late in the race, we lost places for David Foray, who fell from 8th to 13th. But the real disappointment, Paolo De Conte going out on lap 22 after the shunt at the front. Well, let's try and see in our highlights package where this shunt happened. There it is. Oh dear, dear, dear. Again, I say I apportion no kind of blame, but what I do say is we were all the losers. Well, Marco Ardigo wasn't a loser, but we lost 3 of our top drivers in that one move. Arno Kozlinski, Jonathan Tonon, and Paolo De Conte going out late in the race as well. Marco Ardigo here in our highlights package was leading Rick Drazen, but there was Anthony Abbas going past Jordan Lennox-Lamb. There's the checkered flag. Marco Ardigo wins it. Rick Drazen 2nd, Jordan Lennox-Lamb in 3rd place. Well, once again, let's give you that call over, because there's been really disappointment as well as some fabulous driving. Let's tell you the disappointing features. We did lose Arno Kozlinski early on. We lost Jonathan Tonon early on. Late on, we lost Paolo De Conte when well placed in a podium position. We lost another Belgian driver, Yannick de Brabender, on the last lap. But hey, They're the disappointments. What about the successors? Marco Ardigo of Italy wins it. Rick Drazen of Belgium second. Jordan Lennox-Lamb of Great Britain makes the podium in third place. Jorrit Peks of the Netherlands fourth. Ben Hanley, the second Brit in the race, was fifth. Mirko Torsolini of Italy sixth. Anthony Abbas of France seventh. Bas Lammers, the Dutchman, eighth. Flavio Camponeschi in ninth place from 27th on the grid. And Massimo Aceto of Italy completed the top 10. He started with Flavio Camponeschi in position 28 and gets to the top 10. Starting in position 29, Simo Pahaka drove up to 11th place for a very creditable finish for him. But when we go down to the podium, we shall be meeting up with Marco Ardigo on the top step, Rick Drazen, the Belgian driver, in second place, and Jordan Lennox-Lamb making third place. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage on CIK TV. Don't go away yet. We've got the podium to come. And those of you here at Karting Genk, do come and make up some of the atmosphere that always builds around a podium ceremony. That's the end of the tarmac track action. We go down to the podium now. If you really do have to leave us, well, from myself, Ken Walker, thanks for joining us on CIK TV. But if you can do so, come down to the podium with us. It's always a colourful occasion.
Representative of representative of Mr. Vinchino. Vinchini. Vinchino. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in any way in the vicinity of the podium, we do invite you down. The sun's still shining, the grid girl's still looking lovely, and we've got another podium ceremony coming up very, very shortly. We won't keep you waiting a long time, but it does add to the atmosphere if you're with us, so do come and see us. Tell me ready? No.
Ready to receive the message. How to receive it. Go Ken.
And so we are ready for our podium ceremony for the KZ class. Call to the podium the third place driver from Great Britain, Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Applause for Jordan. A big cheer for the home base driver in second place, Rick Drazen. And a big cheer for the winner from Italy, Marco Ardigo. And to acknowledge the victory of Marco, we shall play for the second time this afternoon the national anthem of Italy. Well, we don't play it at the moment. We bring the winning team representative of Tony Kart Racing Team, Mr. Alberto Villino, to come to the podium as well. So we will now play the national anthem of Italy to acknowledge the victory of Marco Ardigo and Tony Kart Racing Team. And as the strains of the Italian national anthem fade away, yes, your applause, it's well deserved, isn't it? Well done, Italy, both for the driver and for the team. So we make the trophy presentation to the third place driver, Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Mr. Paul Lemons, the circuit owner, steps forward. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, saving his best of the weekend for last, making the podium. We invite the Deputy Responsible for Sport in the region of Limburg here in Belgium, Mr. Frank Smates, to make the presentation to a Belgian driver, Rick Drazen. And we ask Mr. Johan Skapers, Director of Sports of Genk, to step forward to make the presentation of the trophy to our winner, once again from Italy, Marco Ardigo. We ask the Vice President of CIKFIA, Mr. Kees van der Grint, to present the winning team representative, Mr. Alberto Villino of the Tony Kart Racing Team, with his memento. Well done to Tony Kart, well done to Marco, well done Rick, well done Jordan. And so the hostess is now bringing forward the flowers for the drivers in first, second and third positions. And with the photos coming up next, the photographers, call us what you want, guys. We've got Marco, we've got Rick, we've got Jordan, and we've got a lot of beautiful grid girls. So it's sparkling water time. Well, before the guys go, let's go and have a word with them because we don't have to hurry back to the start of the next race. There isn't a next race to start, so as the photos go, let's have a chat with Marco, maybe also with Rick and with Jordan. Marco Ardigo, the race winner first. I want to ask you, Marco, were you aware of your close rivals having that contact early on and going out so early?
Yeah, sometimes it's very easy to make contact with some drivers, but this is a normal race when it's possible, when it's correct. And I want to say also thanks for my team, for all the people, and say thank you very much for this fantastic victory.
Well, we say congratulations again. Good luck for the rest of the championship.
Thank you very much.
Marco Ardigo. Rick Drazen, let's have a quick word with Rick. If we can also ask Jordan if he will hang around a few moments. Rick, finding yourself on the podium in Belgium, that must be pleasing. You're happy with second place, or was first what you only really wanted?
I really wanted, to be honest, the only first place this weekend. I was really motivated to win here because I'm born in this track. I started my first lap on this track. Everything for me started here for karting, so I really was motivated to win this weekend. But at the end, I have to be happy with second because there was one who was better and faster than me.
Well, you're handily placed for the championship now, so although you move away from the track where you started here in Genk, the tracks coming up are ones where you race well, so you do have a shot at the European title.
I will give my best. I think we have shown already a good pace all year. I think now we have to try keep improving to find that last little bit to win.
Well, good luck to you. Hope you find it, Rick, but I say good luck to everybody anyway. But once again, victory for Belgium. That has to be good in Belgium and in Genk as well. Well done.
Thank you.
Rick Drazen there. Yes, your applause worthwhile. And as I managed not to trip myself up and not to hit any of the people I'm interviewing, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, perhaps a little bit of a steady start to this event, shall we say. You're happy with third place overall, given the way that the initial preliminaries went?
Yeah, I'm really happy. We haven't had much time to prepare for the race as I've been away in other countries racing a lot. So to take away third, like a podium, is fantastic. We didn't expect it at all, if I'm honest. I did have a lot of luck on my side as well, I have to say. No, it was a really good result. The CIG worked as hard as they can. Max, always pushing to improve. So no, it's really good. And I'd like to thank everyone back home watching, especially my little nephew Oakley. Sure is.
Your nephew Oakley, I'll keep that in mind, so we'll give him a call next time.
Yeah.
Now, just the same thing I've said to Rick. You're third place in the championship by virtue of this result today, and you've got the remaining rounds to come forward. So, can you have legitimate aspirations for the championship? And if you tell me not really, I'm going to say why not.
No, for sure we have. We've got a lot more time to work now, so I think we'll definitely be improving and be a lot more competitive than we have been this weekend.
Well, we certainly wish you luck, Jordan. Well driven today.
Thank you very much.
Jordan Lennox-Lamb always gives a very, very 100% effort and always good value. Well, those of you tuned into CIK TV, thank you for having been winners throughout. Those of you here at Karting Genk, hope you've enjoyed your afternoons racing, your mornings racing and the whole event. Just seeing Danny Formal walking away and going to say well done to everybody from Costa Rica. We don't often have a Costa Rican driver racing with us. But from myself, Ken Walker, it's been my privilege to be talking to you. I say goodbye till the next time.
Thank you. This one's for me.
This one's for you. This will take two.